We're back!
Daydream discussion.
Dude, I'll
What's
tell you
that?
what, man.
Tell me something.
My neighborhood is a party neighborhood, and the air horn is the vibe.
Wait, they have air horn, or you're saying you bringing an air horn?
No, like when they have DJs like rented out for their backyard parties. Bow, 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 bow. Like it's the whole vibe. It's for real.
They bring DJs.
Dude, people will hire out DJs. Like my neighbors 2 years ago built a stage.
Damn.
DJ brought lights
Damn.
and full PA system.
They pay good money for him.
Yeah.
Or her.
Yeah, him or her.
Or
But
them
yeah,
or
it was,
they.
like crazy bass and like air horns, man. It was wild.
How late was it like a daytime party?
Yeah, it started at 7 and stopped at like 2 a.m.
Damn. I've been to one party that had a DJ. Biggest house party I've ever been to. Easily over 100 people there. It was a big house, but still, it was packed, and there was a DJ in the living room, and that's one of my funnest memories. That was when it comes to partying, was a fucking DJ in the living room, and just I had, I guess, a bottle about this big. I'm sure you'll know it, but of Grey Goose. I don't know if that's a pint. I don't know what it is, but I had that by myself, and I just drank the whole bottle that night, and yeah, it was a wild ass party. Achoo. Here's something I've been thinking about. So some of the most iconic boxing matches have been outside. Ali versus fucking, I think Foreman was outside. Like some of the most iconic ones, and even in recent, the Mayweather and Logan Paul was outside. So why? I don't know if why is a right way to start the question, but do you think that UFC should hold some outside events?
Before I get to that, I'll say one of my favorite sports aesthetics is when they play football on a baseball field.
Oh, that is cool as shit. That
Yeah,
always
that's
happens
cool.
in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool looking.
It is.
But yeah, UFC outside would be interesting. I never thought about that.
Because
I mean,
go on.
WWE does it, so it's a similar format. Men fighting inside of a enclosed cage, or cage.
And think about it, it makes it's like how they always talk about training in Colorado, how those guys most times have more endurance because they're training at a higher elevation. The same thing factors in the outside, because when you're fighting in the UFC in a closed arena, it's a set temperature. But think about being about 85 degrees. That's a whole new fucking thing that's gonna drain your tank, as they say.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, they probably have to do it in like one of the modern arenas that has a open or closed top, because if it rains, you can't do MMA in the rain.
That's what happened at the Mayweather Paul fight. One of the fights on the undercard, it was raining, and it wasn't a heavy rain, and they did have a cover over the boxing ring, but rain was still coming in, and on the logos, the boxers kept slipping, so they had to stop the fight like 3 times so the ref could clean off the canvas. And it's like, yeah, you got to think about that, but I think the UFC could figure it out.
Yeah, don't put logos on the canvas. Stop fucking marketing us.
Yeah, they can't do that, man.
Toyo Tires, the official tire of the UFC.
Did you see that dude in the post-fight interview with Felder? He was like, I just got me a new truck, so I need some Toyo tires. Oh, man.
Oh, I love when fighters do goofy stuff like that.
I'm like, hey, that's a good plug. Like, rather it works than not, you might get some free Toyo tires for shouting them out.
Yeah, because like most fighters, put on a pretty serious front. Like I asked Wendy, I'm like, do Russians know how to smile?
Yeah.
Like now, like when you see Habib in like interviews, kind of like cackle or laugh a little bit. It's like, whoa, because he didn't show that face when he was active fighter in the UFC.
All business.
All business.
It's something I heard Lex Friedman say, which is something to consider when you're talking about stuff like that. Is he said, I want to do an interview with Khabib only in Russian. He said because though he's a good English speaker, he's limited. He can't be as emotional. He can't show, how he truly feels. He's using the words that he has at his I don't know what I was about to say, but yeah, his arsenal of words that he has in America. And then Joe asked Friedman, he was like, what language do you think you can show more emotions in? And he was like, definitely Russian. He said Russian, I don't know. He went into it. If y'all want to watch the fucking episode, you can, but I'm going to fuck it all up. But yeah, he was basically saying that Russian is a more romantic language, so you get more in your feelings in Russian anyways.
And that is a very valid point that his vocabulary is limited. Because I guess the more advanced words in your vocabulary, it takes fewer words to say the same concept.
Right. Yeah.
And that's one thing I really like about Japanese, is that they have a lot of words that don't really translate well to the U.S. or to English, because their one word will mean an entire concept to us. Like it's a full phrase. And that phrase isn't like a shallow phrase. It's like a deep philosophical thought.
Exactly.
It'd be like, this one word means like, when the bird lands on the branch and stares at the calming waters. This is what I feel right now. And it's like, all right, Shakespeare, with your one big ass word, tell me like all my feelings at once.
Yeah, it's almost in America, to be romantic or to be philosophical, you have to over-explain yourself sometimes.
You gotta talk a lot.
Yeah. Have you heard any, I think it's Charles Bukowski, I guess. Have you heard any of that man's poems?
No. If I have, I didn't know it was attributed to him, or it didn't get attributed to him if I did hear it. Yeah,
Lex Friedman at the end of the Rogan podcast read Bluebird, and man, it's such a sad poem about depression, but it's just the way he puts it together. It's just like, man, I'm intrigued by people that can think like that and put it on the paper, because I could say, yeah, I have depression and I try not to let people see it. I try to keep it inside, blah, blah, blah. But I can't attribute that depression to a bluebird that lives inside, but I'm too tough so no one can see it. Like, what? Shit's crazy.
Yeah, I'll check it out. I've heard the name, but I don't know anything about him or his art.
There's another poem I read. I'm going to see if I still have it on my phone. I'm not going to read it because I don't even know if you'd call it a poem. It's like fucking 7-8 big paragraphs. I can't find it. But it's called The Most Beautiful Woman in the World. And if you're listening and you want to read it, I'll put a timestamp because I'm about to give a spoiler. But it's about this lady who is super damaged, but she has 4 sisters, and she's the most beautifulest one out of them all. But she gets older and gets into prostitution and drugs and alcohol, but she's still the most beautiful woman in the world. And this dude spends time with her. She doesn't charge him for sex, and he doesn't even really want sex, but then they end up having a lot of sex, and then she ends up killing herself. But she's still the most beautiful woman in the world. The end.
And that was by the same author?
No, I found that one by Flea. So I guess I can find it real quick who it is, but Flea posted it to his Instagram, and then I heard someone else speak about it like a couple days later, and I was like, it wasn't the same poem, but the same artist. And I'm like, okay, let me look this dude up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Since I'm reading Anthony's book right now, after I read his, I do want to pick up Flea's memoir
Right, right.
and see what stories that Flea tells about their relationship that Anthony didn't tell, or
Right.
even this. If they tell the same stories, see it from Flea's perspective versus Anthony's.
Yeah, and that's what's crazy about autobiographies, because if I wrote an autobiography of my life from start to finish and you read it, there's going to be parts in where you're like, Nate, that's not how that happened. And I'm like, that's how I remember it. You know? How can you remember something that happened 20 years ago vividly?
Yeah.
You know? So that go back to your point, it would be interesting to read Anthony's and then go and read Flea's, and if any stories are similar, see how they are unsimilar,
Yeah, dissimilar.
dissimilar.
Um, yeah, because I think a large part of how you remember it is the emotions that you felt during it.
Right.
So, if for you there was something that caused alarm and you felt some kind of anxiety, you might be like, man, and they were yelling and it was like a dark, rainy day outside. But for me, I didn't perceive that alarm. And I'm like, bro, we were fishing and it was like 75 and it was sunny.
Right.
Like, nobody yelled. Like they might be hooping and hollering, but they weren't yelling.
Right.
So
Yeah. It's all.
and maybe
Everything's
that was
about.
too much of a contrast, but I was trying to.
It was a
sell
huge
the point.
contrast, but you got the point
Yeah.
across.
Yeah, I was trying to overemphasize that point. I was driving that motherfucker all the way home.
Yeah, I was like, no, I think we were thinking about different days. Like, we're thinking about different events. It's 75 in yours, and we're fishing. It's dark, rainy in mine.
Right?
Yeah, we're thinking about different times.
It was like years apart.
For real. Now you got the point across. And it is Charles Bukowski, who wrote The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, or Woman in the World. So, same author who did the Little Blue Bird, or whatever it's called.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I'm not a big poem guy, but I love poems. I can't read a book that's full of poems. I guess what I'm saying. I can take my poems in small doses. Are you a poem guy?
I used to be. I think I saw a movie or a TV show one time that said interesting people memorize poems. I was like, okay. So I got into like some Emerson and some Walt Whitman in high school and memorized some of their stuff. Long gone now.
No, go on and tell me one.
No, I wouldn't even know the names of any of the poems I knew back then. That was so long ago.
Have you ever been into writing poems?
When I was memorizing them, I was writing them. And then went from writing poetry to like writing lyrics.
I've seen this word. I haven't heard it, so I might fuck it up. But have you ever written any haikus?
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
love
like
those,
haikus.
man. You said what?
Yeah, I like haikus because it's all about the number of syllables.
Exactly, and I think it forces you to make something poetic, you know? Because it's like, fuck, that's one too many syllables. What's another word? And normally your mind wouldn't. I mean, your mind might do that and be like, I don't want that word, I want a different word, but it forces your mind to do it.
Yeah. But just like we were talking about Japanese a little while ago, their words might have a little bit more depth to them as far as how the meaning works in their language. That with fewer syllables, they can say a more grandiose statement.
Right, right.
Because with a lot of our words, we identify them with an article of a, an, or the. So I mean, that's a syllable used for something that doesn't add anything.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. It doesn't, but it tells you what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you could just say, I have shoe, but you have to say, I have a shoe.
Yeah. Is it the shoe? Is it like the shoe? Like you're trying to emphasize the shoe?
Right.
Or is it like the capital where there's only one? Or is it a of several or a of many?
Yeah,
If it's
so
a or an, it lets you know, hey, is it a vowel it starts with or a consonant?
Right.
Oh, that's a lot of effort
It is, man.
for
And
something
then
so meaningless.
I remember I posted on Facebook. I'll never forget this. And Lena, I'm sure you forgot about it, but I remember it. I posted probably early 2000s or like 2010 or something like that. I was like, uh, they really need to make a U-turn blinker. And she was like, a U-turn blinker. And I said no because after a vowel it's an. And she was like, Nate, say your sentence out loud. And like this is all through Facebook comments. You know, we're not in the same room, so I'm like, damn, that does sound stupid. English is so stupid, man. It did. It sounded
and,
fucking stupid.
and
And
you
U-turn.
turn. Oh, and you turn blinker. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. But speaking
Oh
of
my
that,
gosh.
why don't we have U-turn blinkers? Because I saw for the first time, and I'm sure you've seen it, a street light. can can we get my question?
I'm trying. Man.
So
Not only adding something that we don't have, but fucking making that thing grammar proper.
yeah, it's weird, man. But yeah, why don't we have U-turn blinkers? Because I saw a street light that had like a U-turn light that was like, "Hey, make a U-turn right now." Why don't we have U-turn blinkers?
I don't know. I mean,
There's
it makes
no
sense. Like, are you turning like hard left, or like? I mean, it'd be a good signal to know. Because
exactly.
if you're on the left hand side of that yellow line coming, it's like, do I need to slow down because they're about to be in front of me, or are they gonna be past me real quick?
And like, not even 100% that one I get all the time because to get from the gas station to my job, you have to make a U-turn. So what I'll get is I'm going this way, but there's someone coming this way and they're turning and I need to turn too. So what they do is they're like, "Oh, I have a green light, I can turn." They're not thinking about me, or they're on the red light so they can turn right and there's no cars coming this way. So they're not thinking about me making a U-turn. So I have to be aware of that every time of they're probably going to go past this red light and I'm going to have to let them. But if I had a U-turn blinker, they'd be like, "Oh, they're making a U-turn."
You mean and you turn? That's
And
crazy.
U-turn. Yeah, it's stupid. I before E except after C.
And sometimes, or like, I thought there was an E before I one,
There is in
like
certain
like neighbor and way. I just don't remember how it goes.
yes.
Or E before I and way. I don't know.
Well, yeah, so that's one way. It's WEIGH.
Yeah.
But most times it's I before E except
Except
after
after
C.
C.
That's after a W. Like why is it changing that? And I'm sure a literary professor could tell us, but it makes no sense.
Yeah, I have no clue.
If I'm trying to teach someone English, how am I going to explain that to them? Like, no, I don't know why, man, but in this, it's the E is before the I and there's no C. I know, just what? It's fucking stupid, man.
Yeah, I had a buddy from South Africa one time, and he goes, Bobby, he's like, I keep going to these restaurants, and they advertise to me this thing y'all call biscuits and gravy. What is biscuits and gravy? And I was like, you've never had biscuits and gravy? He's like, no, we don't have where I come from. I was like, you need to go find you a sit-down restaurant. I was like, don't go like McDonald's or Burger King. Theirs is just okay. You need to find a sit-down diner and have biscuits and gravy. And I told him about Loretta's.
Good place to start.
I don't know where he went, but he came back and he goes, oh, Bobby. I was like, what's up, man? He's like, your biscuits and gravy, they're delicious, but they are not healthy.
Nope.
I was like, John, you think we look like this because we eat health food at diners?
Right.
That's not keto friendly. It
Right.
doesn't have 5 colors and greens. Like shit, that is biscuits and gravy.
Bro, it's crazy how fat America is. Because you look at other countries, like, look at Asian countries, like, they're so skinny. Like, to see a fat person over there, it's like, wait, what? Unless you're a sumo wrestler, like, you took a wrong turn in life, didn't you? You live in a place that doesn't have hamburgers and you're fat. You fucked up. I can see if you get. I'm just saying. Yeah, you fucked up.
Oh my god. Oh.
I have a question. Another question. Why with any artist? Let's go with music. Let's go with rock musicians. Why do artists? Why do you think that artists cannot make the same? I'm trying to think of how to put this in my head, man, and I keep talking before it's right.
I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to follow this.
Yeah, you are.
Because all I'm fixated on now is how you're going to start the question. Because you changed it 4 times before asking the question.
All right, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it in one take this time.
Oh.
Okay, yep, this is it. I got it.
Hurting.
Why do you think that artists cannot not recreate what they've made, but why do they fall off? Why do artists fall off? So like, why does Blink 182 make 4 great albums and then fall off? Green Day. Let's go earlier with shit I don't know too. Or let's go with Metallica. You know, like they're musicians. They've been doing this their whole lives. They make these badass albums, and then 2001 come out with complete shit. Why do you think that happens?
Well, I think it just depends on where the musical trends are and what the tastes are, because they still draw crowds of many thousands. Like they're still playing massive shows and selling. I guess they're selling streams now, but they're still selling tons of music.
Go to a Metallica concert right now. What do you want to hear? You do not want to hear any new shit. Like, as soon as they play new shit, you're like, oh, fuck this.
I want to hear Black Album and before.
Exactly. Like, and most people there, and they know that. So if they do play new shit, I bet you it's not going to be a lot unless they just came out with an album and they're promoting it. But besides that, they know not to play that much new shit. And do you also think it's part of the fans? And we're stuck in nostalgia and how it made us feel back then, and we can listen to that now and feel the same way, but the new music doesn't make us feel that way, so we don't fuck with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like with every first, and with music making you feel a certain way, that might be the band or the song or the album that made you feel that way for the first time. And every album you've been listening to afterwards in that same genre, you might not be thinking about it consciously, and you may never even come to a conclusion, but it might be that you're chasing that same feeling again.
That's
and
what...
You're just like, oh, man, like, no, these next 5 albums didn't do it for me. That first one was the best one. But for somebody else, they're just like, bro, that's when they weren't that good.
Right.
Like, we don't want to hear the old shit, because Dude Ranch, like, why would we want to hear Dude Ranch?
Right.
We want to hear Take Off Your Pants and Jacket and Afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, like, those aren't hits. Those were really good B-sides at best.
And I think that's how I am, you know, well, I guess a lot of people, but I think that's how I am because with Blink, I think if I heard Dude Ranch for the first time right now, and I had already heard Enema of the State, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, then I would be like, oh yeah, they were struggling back then. But since I heard Dude Ranch, not when it came out, you know, but when I was like 10 or 11, I'm like, okay, yeah, I fucks with this. This is awesome. I love Blink-182. But yeah, if I heard Dude Ranch for the first time now, it wouldn't do it for me. I know it wouldn't do it for me.
Yeah, it's kind of like Dexter. People ask me if I've seen Dexter, and I say yeah, and they ask me how I liked it. My relationship to Dexter is really weird because I started halfway through season 3, and I saw the finale, and it's like, oh man, and season 4 is coming out like right after it, and I was like, this show's awesome. But Pete told me, hey, you gotta go back and watch seasons 1 and 2 so you can understand who he is. The production quality of season 1 is so bad. It is terrible.
So it got fucked up for you.
I couldn't do it.
But if you would have started,
I didn't have depth of character, and I didn't understand why the characters interacted the way they did. I enjoyed it, but I didn't understand it. And then like there are different storylines. I'm just like, I got bored with it because like I don't know truly what's going on the way everybody else does. But I can't go back and watch the old shit because it looks so bad.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks because
it's kind of like hearing a later album first and going back, it's like, ooh, they weren't that good then.
Right, and that's how it is with Dude Ranch because Dude Ranch is poorly mixed, and you know, Enema of the State is high quality shit. So, yeah, you should have started with that's hilarious. You just brought up Dexter again because I brought it up last day drink, and you said, yeah, me and Dexter have a weird relationship. It's not worth talking about. So I was like, oh, let's go past this conversation because I don't know if he was drinking heavy. I don't know what he was going through when he was watching Dexter, but he don't want to talk about it. But it wasn't that at all.
No, it wasn't anything related to trauma. It just...
I thought it was, so I just went past it.
No, it was a uninteresting conversation at the time, I guess. But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I liked Dexter, what I saw of it, but it's a very short following for me because I watched it in the wrong order.
Yeah, you fucked up. Yeah, it's a really good show, and I'm like, you know that, but that sucks that you didn't start with. Because if you would have started with season 1, then I don't think you would have that. It would be backwards. It would be like, oh damn, production got better. I didn't even notice it was shitty.
Here's the problem with streaming culture though. Like used to, if you missed season 1 of Friends, you didn't get to see it
until years later when it came out on box set.
I was about to say, you got the box set like once they're 10 seasons in, and they realize, oh, this is worth reproducing.
Right.
And people will probably buy it for nostalgia or because they didn't get to see it. But you just get to start with season 2, and all you understand is season 2 forward. You don't understand the inside jokes that everyone else is laughing at, and you're just like, what? That wasn't really funny.
Right.
But now it's like you can go back, and you probably should. If it's 5 seasons in, don't start with season 5.
Yeah. Especially if you realize that you're liking the show, because most times the only reason you're going to start on a later season is because someone you're with is watching it, and you get sucked in.
Yep.
At that point, it's like, hey, I'm not going to make you start over, but I'm going to go home and watch it by myself. Can we turn it off? I'm going to have to stop watching this with you.
Yeah, because Pete even told me on season 3, he's like, you don't want to watch this. I was like, why? He's like, because it's really good. It's going to suck you in, but you need to see season 1 and 2 to understand what's going on. And I was like, I'll watch an episode or 2. And then I was just like, holy shit. And then the season finale happened, and I was like, whoa, this show's incredible. I was like, I can't wait for season 4. He's like, you need to go watch season 1 and 2. I was like, And then I was like, okay, he's probably right. And I tried it, and I was like, man, they record this with like a camcorder.
That sucks, man. Damn.
And I'm being dramatic, but
no, it wasn't that bad.
I just didn't like it.
I was about to say because I didn't even notice it, but I didn't go back. You know, I started there and went forward.
Let's see. We were watching a movie the other day. Man, do you have access to Hulu?
Yeah.
You need to go watch John Cena's new movie. It's called Vacation Friends. Hilarious. Yeah, Wendy told me, she's like, hey, there's this new comedy that just came out. I think we should watch it tonight. And this was Friday night. And I was like, all right. She's like, yeah, it has John Cena in it. And I didn't say anything out loud, but instantly I was just like, I don't want to watch a movie with John Cena.
Right.
Not that I have anything against him necessarily, but like I was telling her, I'm not the biggest fan of most times when like a wrestler or something like that will go and act, or a UFC fighter act, is like, that's not your strong suit.
Yeah, The Rock can do it. That's about it.
The Rock can do it. He did very well, and Roddy Piper did very well back when he did Highlander. There can only be one. But like, I'm not into John Cena movies, but okay, whatever. I'll watch the trailer. The trailer's like 2 minutes long. 30 seconds in, I was like, let's pop some popcorn. We're watching this. And man, it was so funny from beginning to end.
He's a good actor.
In this, he was, at least. I haven't seen his other stuff where he's like super cop or whatever, but in this, he was hilarious.
Hell yeah.
He knew when to be over the top and loud and crazy. He knew when to be a little bit psychotic. He knew when to like try to make you turn on the waterworks by being like very sentimental. He was really good.
You know, you everything you just named is something that this person did amazing. Show I've been binge watching is fucking Martin. Holy shit. Not only does he play different actors or different characters, he fucking, like, you can tell sometimes, like, he'll say something and it's either the way he said it or it was improv, because Gina or Tommy or something will, like, you could tell it's a laughter. It's not like, oh, I'm laughing at you because I'm supposed to in this part. It's like, no, you're dumb. Let's keep it rolling.
That's my favorite part of like SNL skits when they have a guest on, is just seeing the guest that doesn't do a whole lot of comedy or hasn't worked with these people before, and they just hit them really hard with a punchline, and the guest is like,
right?
And then they try like fake crying, and they're like, oh, this is the saddest thing ever. It's like, you're trying so hard not to laugh right now.
I think it was Dave Chappelle on SNL, and it was the same kind of thing. Like, Chappelle and whoever else was on there, it's just, you can tell it's a lot of it's improv, and it's hard for them to stay in character. And I love shit like that, man. But Martin, I gotta stop binge watching it because it's got me wanting to do some, get in a fucking relationship and shit. I'm like, that shit's dumb. But I'm watching, I'm like, man, it would be nice to have me a Gina. Like, nope, don't need it. Don't need it. But yeah, man, that's a good show to go back and watch.
And you said you had about half an hour, and that half hour's passed.
Oh, yeah.
And my time limit's coming up, too.
Hell yeah, I'm going to go bowling. What you doing?
I'm about to go do another Zoom call.
With the fam?
Yeah, with the fam. I'm going to go do some family Zoom calling. And then, I don't know, might break out the paint today and do some abstract painting.
And then going to watch Paul beat up Woodley.
Yes, sir. I'm going to pay for it.
Yeah, me too.
Because pirating is dumb.
Who you buying it from?
Showtime.
Yeah, Zersky.
Exclusively on Showtime.
Yes, Zersky. Well, hell yeah.
And Jake Paul's going to shock the world and turn his face sideways.
And that's what sucks, because he really is going to shock the world, because there's still people that think that Woodley's going to get him.
Yeah, I mean, Woodley has hands in the context of MMA, but he doesn't box. Jake Paul, as much as I don't like him as the character he shows the world, is not bad at boxing.
And he's young. How old is Woodley? 41?
He's older than me. Yeah, he's either upper 30s or very lower 40s.
I mean, that's pretty much became the age of retirement. But so I ain't saying he's too old to fight, and not a built-in excuse. What is a built-in excuse? I'm sorry, I know we got to go, but I read somewhere, and I don't know if it's true, but I read somewhere that they're not drug testing for the fight. So the built-in excuse that Woodley's talking about is, bro, I think you're on PEDs.
Yeah, he's like, are you on steroids? I saw that the other day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do like how Woodley called out Jake Paul's narrative of, oh, I'm a Disney star, I'm a vlogger. He's like, no, he's just saying that shit in case he gets beat. This
right.
is going to be a fucking fight. It's going to look like a fucking fight because it's going to be a fucking fight. And I'm like, He is playing that angle pretty hard. Like, oh, if he does beat me, then I wasn't meant for this anyways.
Yeah, I'm just a Disney star and a YouTuber, dude. Come on now.
Oh, why are you getting so aggressive?
Right. Something I want to know if it's going to happen, whoever loses, are they going to really get I love other person's name tattooed on them?
Oh, Lord.
Because Jake said that he brought his tattoo artist to Ohio. So he's like, it'll be in the locker room. She'll be in the locker room waiting for you, and it's like, I want to know if they're going to go through with it, because a bet is a bet.
Yeah, this is the last thing I can say. Then I got to jump off here real quick. But when when Jake was like, hey, Tyron, double or nothing, bet your purse. And Tyron's like, man, I don't play games. And the world was like, Tyron needs his money bad.
He was like, fuck that, bro.
Jake's like, I'll give your purse to charity.
Oh, man. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a good fight.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Love you, man.
Love you, man. Have a good night. And
yes,
stay black.
Sir. And don't be whack.